Welcome to the Blender Goon. In this video, we are going to take the Celestine clock and do some multi-UV unwrapping and baking and get it ready for export to Secondlife. So now that we have all our materials applied, we're going to have to get our UVs all set up, and we're going to do a multi-UV unwrap. So let's go to hide this in panel. We don't need it now. And we have to sort this stuff out how we want it. So I'm going to join some stuff together just to get everything in its own thing. So the clock itself, actually I'm going to separate the face of the clock just because it'll be easier. So I'm going to hide the glass, select the clock, hit tab, select the face of the clock, and hit P by selection. And that separates the face. And I'm going to select this. I think I'm going to put all this stuff on one UV here. So select all our little parts and Control J to join them all together. So now we have this, and I missed a little bolt. So let's get our bolt down here. Why are you red on the bottom? Something is wrong with our bolt. I deleted the wrong face of the bolt, so we're going to grab it, rotate it on the Y by 180. That's better. And we don't have a material on the bolt. So I'm going to hit the little drop down and add the proper material. To figure out which one it is, I'm going to select the whole thing, go into edit mode, deselect everything by clicking on nothing over here. And I think it might be this one. And if you select it and hit select, it's not. It highlighted that, so deselect that and try this one, select, and it is. So we're just going to put that material on that bolt. So that's just a rusted bronze, so select a bolt, go to rusted bronze, and now it's on there, and then we can select the clock and Control J to join that stuff together. So now all that stuff is joined together, and if we select it and go into UV editing, we will see what's going on here. And it's a big old mess, and I'm okay with it being a big mess because this is all our auto unwrap. And if you go to the green triangle, which is our object data properties, and you go to UV maps and click the little drop down, you'll see you have two. One is this one, and one is the other. So we want to take this one. So select the UV map and select that, and I'm going to rename it to bake because that's what we're going to bake. And the auto map is what we're going to be baking from. So this one we need to actually unwrap. The auto map, we don't want to touch it because that's controlling how our textures look on the object. So this stuff needs organized, and I'm just going to select all of it and do an average island scale. But before I do that, I want to go into object mode over here, hit my end panel, make sure that everything's zeroed out, and it's not. So I'm going to hit Control A and do all transforms, and that zeroes everything out. Now we can click A on it, and I'm going to do an average island scale, and then I'm going to do an A again and a pack islands. And under our margin, I'm going to put it at 0.20 or 0.020 and click OK. And that's absolutely terrible. So let's not do it that way. We're going to just arrange it on our own here. So I'm Control Z and backing that up till it's back to this. The average island scale actually probably wasn't bad, but none of this matters except for how we want the texture to have the resolution. So the size of this stuff is going to matter with our resolution. So I'm going to hit Control Space on here. And I think I'm going to do it by material. So Control Space again, and I'm going to click this button up here, which is the UV sync selection. And if I click nothing over here, I can actually select stuff by material. So go to Material tab, and I'm just going to start at the top with the cast iron and hit select, and that'll select everything, and I'm going to move it over here in its own little area. And then go to the second material, and select nothing, and then hit select. It's not assigned to anything. All right, we can remove that. So tab in object mode and remove that material because it's not assigned to anything. Um, that was probably the clock face, and it's not part of this stuff. So we got rid of that. The oxidized copper select, and I'm going to move that over here. Rusted bronze, deselect and select everything. We'll move that stuff up here. And the rusted bronze 01, select. You can also grab these little dots and drag them down to make sure you don't have hidden ones down here. And we'll move that up here. And now we can arrange all this stuff how we want it. Control space. And on this one, I'm going to box select this, and I'm just going to do a pack islands because it's going to be easier. So pack islands, that's fine, and we'll just pack it, and that puts it in there. And I'm going to move it over here. That's enough space, and we're going to do that with each selection now. The pack islands. Yeah, pack islands. And that's putting this stuff in here. If it turns sideways like this, I'm actually going to straighten it. So I'm going to box select this stuff and just rotate it till it's straight-ish. Doesn't have to be perfect. Hit G to move it, and then I'll grab it all and move it over here. Let's pack islands on this. Oh, I'm terrible this morning. Can't see. There it is. And click OK, and that put that in there just like that. That's good. We'll move that and box select this mess and pack islands again. And that all looks good. Now we can try to make a square out of all this stuff. So, and give things the appropriate texture space. So all this is our bronze stuff. And if I look at it, I can kind of choose which piece is which. So if I select this and hit L, it'll highlight that. So that needs to be much bigger. And all this other stuff needs to be smaller. So we'll move this over here. I believe this is the back of our clock. It is. So we'll move that over here. So it needs to be a little bigger. And all this stuff is just our bolts. So we can make those smaller and make this stuff bigger. Because we want more texture space for this stuff than we do the other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. I'll scale it down till it fits. I don't think the screencast keys works over here. It doesn't. I'm going to grab this, move it up here, and maybe give it a little more texture space. And that should be good. And then control space. We might be moving this. Let me move this up here. I'm going to hit L on this and see what it is. That's this little piece. It does not need to be that much space, so we'll make it smaller. That's the front of the face. These things are all fine. This thing I can make bigger. So we're just going to scale it up until it's the same length as the others. Or roughly. What's this one? That's that piece. That's fine. I hate it when it does that. So that's the top piece. So that's fine. That's this piece. It's fine. That one's also fine. We could scale these up to be about the same height. That way it's all square. And I'm hitting the L on these to select. So I select a piece and then I hit L on it to select the whole thing. And we'll just scale it up a little bit. That's probably good. You don't want to have anything overlapping. If anything overlaps, it's going to bake black, and you don't want black bakes. We'll grab this and move it a little closer. This guy we can put here and scale it up because everything's going to need scaled down anyhow a little bit. This piece, we might be able to get away with it having more space. I'm just going to move it over here for now. here, and we'll put all these here. And I might be able to just pack islands on this thing, but I think it's okay the way it is. I'm just going to scale this guy down a little bit so that it fits. Over here and scale them up so that they fit. And this guy, let's rotate it 90. And scale it up a little more. And now grab all of it and just scale it down a little bit so it all fits into space. So that's our proper unwrap for our bake. And go over here and you see this still selected as bake. The clock face should be unwrapped good. And I should have added these in with my other parts. So we are going to object mode, select both of these, shift select our regular piece and hit tab. And now I can try to fit these in here somewhere. So I can move all of this up and put them at the bottom. We'll grab this guy, move it over here, rotate it 90, put it there, and grab this, rotate it 90, and put it here. Should be fine. Looks good. So now that we have a nice square UV and everything's on there properly, and we have our glass and our other piece set there, we need to sort out our auto map and our bake in our textures. So if we go to shading and we select our main piece here and go to our top cast iron, and you can hit the home key or the period on a number pad to get to this cast iron. So the cast iron's running through UV map node, which is great. So we can put our auto map on here because we're going to be baking from our auto map. And then we need another UV map here. So Shift A, input UV map, and then Shift A, texture, image texture. And if you hold Alt, you can drag and hold right click and drag. So Alt, right click on one node and drag to the next node, and it'll connect it up for you. And then on this UV map, we're going to be changing it to bake. So from our auto map to our bake. And then we need to do that for each texture. So we can box select this and copy it. Right click and copy. And then go to our oxidize, and we'll just put it over here as a control V. And that's good. And then this guy, we need to figure out where the UV map stuff is, and it's probably in this node group. So we'll select a node group, and it's over here, and it's running out of object. I believe we can leave that alone. It should be fine if we leave that alone. We'll try it and see what happens. So tab can go back into here, and that's fine. The rusted bronze, it's also running out of pointiness and some other stuff. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to try this and see what happens if we just paste our guy in here. I haven't actually tried it, so we'll give it a try while we're at it. Select the next material and Control V, copy that in there. And pull our thing down, and we'll run through the textures again to check them. That's good, 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 and good. So we can go back to our top one, and we're going to make a new material, and this is going to be a diffuse. So new, we'll call it Celestine Clock Diffuse. Turn off the alpha. We'll make it 512. If you mouse over one of the numbers and you left click and drag, it'll select both when you let go, and then you can just type one number in and it'll change both of them. This is all fine, and click new image. And that should have changed all of them, and it did not. Since it didn't change all of them, I'm going to copy it. So box select and copy, and go through, and we'll just box select this and delete it, and then Control V to paste it in. And when you're doing this, make sure you select the orange node when you're done. So this one will box select, delete with X, and Control V, paste it in, and select that node. Box select X, Control V, select that node. Okay, so we have one problem, and the problem is I didn't select these and add our nodes. So I need to select both of these. We'll box select this and delete it, and Control V, paste that in. And it says bake here, and it's not working. And the reason it's not working is because the UV map over here is not named bake. So we're going to double click that and just name it bake. And that fixes it. And the same with this one. UV map needs to be changed to bake. And it's got the material on there, so it should be fine. So I want to select both of those and make sure those are selected. And then I know we selected all our materials in here, but just to be sure, we're going to check it. Make sure the bake is selected and turned on. Go to our materials and pick the top one. Make sure the orange node is selected on each one of these colors. To move this around, it's middle mouse. If you guys haven't figured that out yet. Rusted bronze. Make sure that's selected and the other one's selected. That one is selected and that one is selected. So we're good there. So we can shift select those parts. Okay, so since we're baking PBR, we need to set up our rendering. So up at the top is the rendering tab. And we go to that, and we need to be in cycles, not Eevee, and GPU compute. And then for our samples, I'm just going to bake 300 samples, and I'm going to turn denoise off. And then under the bake tab, if you open up the bake tab, we have combined here. So we don't want to do combined, so we're going to go to diffuse. And then we're going to turn our direct and indirect light off. Now we have our rendering options set up, but before we bake this, I need to do some stuff with the metallic on each one of these materials, because if I bake, it's not going to bake properly. So under our materials tab, we're going to just start with the bottom one, the rusted bronze, and we need to move some of this stuff around. So I'm going to hit Control Space down here and pull this out. And we're looking for the metallic stuff that's attached to the principal BSDF. And I'm just going to box select this stuff and hit G and move it. And grab this one and move it over here. And I just want to put it close so I know which one is the metallic. We can actually rename these. I think if we select it and hit F2 and name it metallic. Now I know it's which one it is. So, and we need to unplug this and change this metallic on the principal BSDF to 0. And then we can Control Space, and we need to do that with each texture. Find the metallic and get rid of it. So Control Space here, move this up here a little bit, move this guy over here, rename it, select it, rename it with F2, metallic, and unplug it and change this to 0. When we bake metallics, we have to bake through emission, and that's the last thing we're going to do. So Control Space, select the next color, and this one's crazy. So Control Space to go big, and I'm just going to move this up, and this thing's weird, so I'm going to select it and hit G and move it. And this is our metallic. I'm just going to grab it and move it over here, and now I know which one it is, and I'm just going to unplug it. And it's already set to 0, so that's good. And we know it's metallic because it's right in line. And the cast iron also has a metallic. It's named metallic already, so we'll just unplug it. And it's already set to 0, so we're good there. Now we should be able to just go ahead and bake this. So go back and make sure that your orange nodes are selected on each one of your materials. So selecting the nodes and selecting the orange one that we're baking to. Then we can go to our render tab up here. And our object is selected. All this is set up properly, and bake. And that gives us our diffuse bake. So I forgot to put our clock hands in here when we baked it. So we have to bake again and we have to check our clock hands. So I'm going to select this space and hide it and select this clock hand, and we have to do the same thing. Okay, the metallic's disconnected, so we're good there. We just have to select the objects and go through our materials again and make sure all our orange nodes are selected. And then we can bake it a second time. And now we have our clock hands on here. And we can go ahead and save that image. So image, save as. And I made a folder for this called Celestine's Clock. And it's saved as Celestine's Clock Diffuse, which is good. We can leave all this alone. Save image. Okay, so we have a bunch more maps to bake. If you don't know, we're baking PBR or gltf for Secondlife. And if you haven't seen it before, it comes with a diffuse map, which is what we just baked. It also comes with the ambient occlusion map, a roughness map, and a metallic map, and they all get combined into a thing called an ORM map for occlusion, roughness, and metallic ORM. And then we also bake a normal map. So we need to go ahead and bake our ambient occlusion. And to do that, I'm going to jump back to Materials tab here. And I'm on the top one. And I'm just going to hit Control Space down here, and we're going to copy these guys. And so Shift D and just move them down. And this one's going to be our ambient occlusion map. So I'm going to kill this and call it Celestine Clock AO for ambient occlusion, and turn off the alpha and click, well, we're going to do 512 because that's what we did in the top one. 512. And I'm recording this on the second day, so mine changed. And new image. And then we can copy this and Control Space. Go to our next material. Put your mouse down here and Control V to paste it. And I can grab it and move it up. Go to the next material. Control V and paste it. And the next material, Control V and paste it. Then we have to go back through them and make sure all the orange ones are selected of the ambient occlusion. Then we can go back to our render tab, scroll down, and make sure all our objects are selected this time. This last time they weren't. Change the bake type from diffuse to ambient occlusion and bake it. That should come out looking something like that. And we can go ahead and save that. Image, save as. It should open right in the same folder. It's named Celestine Clock AO, so that's good. And save image. And now we just repeat the process over and over again. And the metallic we're going to bake last. So we got our diffuse, and we've got the O of our ORM map. So now we need our roughness map. So we'll copy this. Shift D, move it down. Kill this. Click New. Name it Celestine Clock Roughness. And new image. And I made a mistake already. These need to be baked as non-color. So I'm going to change this sRGB to non-color, and we're going to rebake that. So I need to go through all of those and fix that. Mistakes. So back to our materials tab and select the second one. Go here. Change this one to, oh, that one's already non-color. Make sure this one's non-color. It is. And make sure this one's non-color, and it is. So we just need to rebake that. So I'm going to double check that the orange nodes are selected. And they are. Go back to here. It's still set to ambient occlusion. I'm going to just bake it again. And it changed very slightly, but that's what we need done. And I'm just going to save right over top of that one. Now we can go back to what we was doing here. So this one also needs to be changed to non-color. And now we can copy it and paste it in. We can actually select that node now so we don't have to do it again in a minute. Back to the materials, go to the second one, Control V, select the node, Control V, select a node, whoops, select a node, and Control V, and select a node. Now we can go back to render. Now we're doing roughness, so change bake type to roughness. All the objects are selected, and bake. And there's our roughness map. So we can save that. And it's just repeating the process over and over again. Save image. And now we're going to do our normal map of our object, and we'll do the metallic last. So I'm going to copy both of these, Shift D, move them all the way down. I'm going to leave a space because the metallic goes here. And we can kill this. Click new, name it Celestine's Clock. Normal. And everything's good there. And click new image, copy, control space, materials tab, back up here, and paste them in, control V. Select a node, and we'll go back to this one and make sure that node's selected. It is now. This one, control V. Select the node, control V, select the node, back to the baking tab, or rendering tab rather. Change the bake type from roughness to normal, and bake it. And there's our normal map. Looks okay. It's a little bright, but that's fine. Image, save as. Good. Now the last one is our metallic, and that's going to require a little more work. So we can copy this guy and move it here. Kill this. Name it Celestine Clock Metallic. Click new image. Change it to non-color. Oh, this one didn't change to non-color. Oh, stupid. Don't forget to change these to non-color because it breaks stuff. All right, I'm gonna change this one to non-color. We're gonna bake it again. If you guys didn't forget, then you don't have to redo it, but I did. So I'm gonna check them all because just in case, they should be all changed though. Non-color, 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 and non-color. Good, they're all changed. Make sure they're all selected again. Good. And they're still set to normal, so I'm just going to bake it again. And that lightened that up just a hair. So that's good. Image, save as. Normal, save. Okay, sorry. All right, now back to this one. And it's set to non-color already. So we can copy it. And go back to our materials and start pasting it in. Select orange node. Select orange node. Control V. Select orange node. And Control V and select orange node. And we also have to do some other stuff. So go back to your first material and control space. And now we need to plug this metallic into the emission. So we're just going to grab that, plug it into emission. I got to open it up first. And we just plug that into the color. Go to the next material. Open this up. Plug it into emission. If you're using the an older version of Blender, the emission is probably not collapsed like this, and it'll be fine. Just plug it into emission. It's okay. This one. Plug it into. I keep forgetting to do that. Plug it into emission. And the last one, plug it into emission. Did it again. Now go back to here and select our fourth map there on each one. Back to our render tab. We're going to change normal to emit and bake it. And that's our metallic map. And so we can save that. So I made those mistakes where I had to go back and fix stuff. If you guys like that, let me know in the comments. If you don't, tell me you hate it. That way I know what to do in later videos. So I know some people love that I make the mistakes and leave the fixing stuff in there. That way they, for one, I'm human. I make mistakes. And two, you get to see, what happened and why it happened and what you can do to fix it. So let me know in the comments. So now we need to do the clock face. So what we can do, we can select all these. And we don't need these nodes, so we'll just select the orange ones. And do a Control C to copy. And then go to our clock face and just do a Control V to paste them in. And then we need to reset up all these. Well, you can bake on top of these, but when you do, it's going to do stupid stuff over here, so you're better off not doing that. So we're just going to kill this, and we're going to name it new. Clock face diffuse. If I can type. And new image. This one sRGB is fine. This one is going to be the ambient occlusion, so we can kill it and name it new clock face AO. Oh, that's fine. It changed it to sRGB. Don't forget to change it to non-color because you know how I am. You see me in the last video, last part. This one is going to be the roughness, so kill it. New. Oh. Clock face roughness. New image, non-color. The next one is metallic. New clock face metallic. Image, non-color. And the last one is the normal, so new clock face normal, non-color. Good. How did you get connected? You're not supposed to be connected. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so I'm going to do the metallic first since that's what we left off with, and it's still set to emit, so that's good. Make sure the clock face is selected. Make sure the node you want to bake to, which is the metallic, is selected. And we can go ahead and bake that one. And it should change over here, and it does. It goes to black. And you know it's the right one because it says, doesn't say clock face. So that's not the right one. So we need to find Celestine clock face. Or metallic, rather. Clock face metallic. There it is. I've done this a couple times, so there's more in the list. Image, save as. Clock face metallic is fine. I need to delete that one. So we'll just go over top of that one. Save image as. And I'm actually going to go into my folder here and change the view to large icons. And I'm going to make a new folder, 2 new folders actually, because I like to put these in their own thing. So this is going to be the clock main. And I'm just going to copy these and just stuff them in there. And this one I can delete because we're going to redo that one in a second. And then I'm going to make another folder and name it clock face. and put our clock face stuff in that folder. That way we keep stuff a little bit organized. So that was a metallic. We can go ahead and bake the normal also. So we'll switch that to normal, select the normal node, and just bake it. And that switched it to normal, so that's good. Didn't change it to the face normal though. It's listed. Make sure this reads right, because if it's not the right one, you're not saving the right one. So I'm going to select that and look for the clock face normal and save that one. Save as clock face, save. And then we go to, let's start at the top here. Diffuse, and flip this to diffuse. And bake it. And then change this to diffuse, clock face diffuse. Where you at? There it is. And then save that. It shouldn't be doing that. I don't know why it's doing that. It's torturing me today. Save as. Now we do our AO. So change this to ambient occlusion. Bake. Change this to clock face AO. We're getting shadows on here, and I don't want shadows on this thing. So to get rid of the shadows, I'm actually going to select the hands and turn the camera off on the hands. There's a little camera icon over here. So if you get shadows and stuff that you don't want, make sure you turn the hands off. And then I'm going to reselect the clock face and bake that a second time. And change it back to clock face. I don't know why I've done that. But now the hands are gone. It's just the AO of the clock. So we can hit the drop down, image, save as. Clock face AO is good. Now we need the roughness. Change that to roughness. Bake it. Find the clock face roughness. There it is. Save as. And that's all 5 maps. Okay, last one we need to do is our glass. I don't know if it's hidden or not, so unhide your glass and select the glass. And actually we need to select our other part, so I'm gonna hide that again. Select the clock face again so I can copy all these. So just box select and right click copy and control space and then unhide the glass and select the glass, and we're just gonna paste those in there and control space, and I'm gonna move them up. And you know the drill, we're gonna rename them all. So kill this one, it's a diffuse, new. We'll call it glass diff 512, no alpha. And we actually don't need this one, but I'm gonna bake it anyway. So new image. And then AO, so kill it, new glass AO image, and change it to non-color. Roughness, glass rough, non-color, metallic, glass metallic, non-color, and a normal glass normal, new image, and non-color. All right. I guess we'll start with the diffuse. Like I said, we don't really need it, but I'm gonna bake it anyhow just in case stuff acts stupid when we export. Change the bake type to diffuse and bake it. And it came out black. Let's check our UV maps and everything. It shouldn't have came out black. Actually, let's check our, okay, we have an auto map on there. And go to UV editing, and the UV looks good. If your UV doesn't look like this, you need to make it look like this. So if it's like this or whatever, just scale it up till it's just inside. I'm just going to ignore that. Well, actually, yeah, that's glass diffuse. We'll go ahead and save it like that. It may be fine because we're not using it anyhow. Save as glass. I've already baked all these, and I baked it like that earlier, so we're just going to delete those. Delete glass diffuse and save, and then select the next one, the AO, and go to baking, change it to AO. And if this one bakes funny, we'll know something's wrong. We'll fix it. Nope, it's okay. All right, cool. Save as. And that's AO001, which is fine. I don't care. Oh, it is called AO001. And then roughness. Change it to roughness and bake it. That looks good. Save as. Good. Metallic to metallic. Let me see. We have to do a mission for metallic. So let's check our thing here. I don't think it has any metallic, so it should be fine. It doesn't, so we can just bake the emit. So go to emit. If I can find it, emission. Emit, there it is. And bake. And that's our emit. It's just black. It's fine. Emit, save as metallic. Good. And our last one is a normal, so change it to normal. And bake it. And that's our normal map. Save as. Good. That's it for this video. Join me in the next one where we export our clock and materials to Secondlife. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, join my Patreon. Thanks, and I will see you in the next one.